Right, my clock is 8:30, so welcome everyone to our webinar this morning on Addovation CPQ and how to elevate your sales game with Addovation CPQ. Nice to see you here. Before we get started, I would like to do a short introduction of the presenters you'll hear from in this webinar. We have a special guest here today from MP-bolagen, Anders Karlsson, who will show you a customer example on how they use CPQ today. You'll hear from my colleague Victor Roos, our product owner on the solution, and another colleague, Andreas Ehrengen, who's a pre-sales manager here at Addovation. And my name is Lars Stampes. I work as a sales manager. And the agenda for today is as follows. We will start off by introducing you to the solution and hear a couple of customer examples on how to use CPQ today. You will see a demo of the solution and also a demo of the solution together with, in this case, IFS Cloud. But we also want to highlight that you can also use this CPQ solution together with other ERP systems. But today we use IFS Cloud as the example. We will have a look at AI, how we can use it today and how we will use it in the future, and also round up at the end with a little summary and some questions, and we also have a special offer for you waiting at the end. So make sure you stay all the way through. Before we start with talking about our solution, we will do a short little introduction on Addovation for those of you who are new to us. We are a Nordic IT company, and we work with ERP systems, managed services, integrations, and all that. And from the very beginning, we have been very focused on developing our own products and solutions, mostly in the beginning from IFS customers, but also other ERP systems. And we do that by extending and enhancing the usage and benefits of your existing ERP system. We do that in a very customer-focused way. So we add functionality that's not covered by the core product. We have had a steady growth and are now a bit over 200 employees. We have 10 offices around the Nordics, and we work with customers all over the world, but mostly with their head offices here in the Nordic region. And with that short little introduction, we'll now go into the main topic of the day, and of course that is Addovation CPQ, and start with a little introduction of what is CPQ. Well, it stands for Configure, Price, Quote, and it's a solution for companies with complex or configurable products. It's easy to use either for your end customers, for your dealers, or your own sales staff. And we use data either from within the system, or if you're connected to, for example, IFS Cloud, we use the data that is in IFS Cloud in this case. And it also has a highly configurable user experience. We can adapt this to your products and your business. We can visualize 3D drawings in a more selling way on site with customers, making it easier to get a look and feel on how this product will look in reality, and hence making it easier to make a purchase decision for your customers. It also works as a report engine, so you can automatically produce quotations, documents, etc., without any CAD experience or similar. And last but not least, you also get accurate configurations based on rules that you've set up in the system. So you eliminate errors and wrongly configured products that can occur in a more manual process. And a customer that has been working with our CPQ solution for quite some time now is MP-bolagen, and we do have a special guest here today, Anders Karlsson. Thanks for joining us, Anders, and I will let you talk a little bit about how you use CPQ today.
Thank you, Lars. Yes, I'm Anders Karlsson. I represent a company in Sweden, Vetlanda, called MP-bolagen, as he said. It was founded in 1953 by our owner, Werner von Seelitz, who was a refugee from Germany. The company operates in different sectors today, including cable management, tool manufacturing, and also in agriculture and forestry. The project started in 2015 and the aim was the seller, reseller, retailer. And why we began the project was at the time we had increasing volume of custom-made service poles for the market, and in that time we drew everything in a manual way in Adobe Illustrator. And when they were made, we calculated the parts to the project in the Excel file, and then put in to the business system. And when the configurator was developed, the customer had the opportunity to make their own choices. I think we had the next slide now. Thank you. When the configurator was developed and the customer was able to make their own choices, such as the length of the pole, the number of outlets, the cable length, and the cable types, and other accessories. And once the customer had entered all the data in the different service poles, the project was able to make a quotation, and it was made by a single click. The list of the components is automatically imported into our business system today, and we only had to price the number of poles depending on the time that production has to make them. The quote can then be sent to the customer, and on the customer side, a PDF file could be saved and downloaded for his customer or for his behalf. And cable ladders is one of the other product types that can be selected. You start by choosing the environment for the cable ladders mountings, and the choices you're making are displayed on the 3D environment on the screen. And when you are done, the accessories and parts that fit the selected width and surface treatment on the cable ladder can be chosen. And then you can either request a quote, download a PDF or Excel file to the products, or save them to add some more products in the same project later. As I said, since 2015, the configurator has received several upgrades and new features, and today about 80% of our product range is able to calculate a configurator. And the configurator is still developing, so we have about 800 registered users using it today, and we are not done there. We are develop it, and we are very satisfied with the development together with Addovation CPQ, and look forward to further developing the configurator in the future. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Anders, for being here and sharing your experiences with our solution. Going forward, we do have another customer example. It's a customer named Expodul who used their tool in a different way. And we will now hear from my colleague Victor, who will do a little demo on how they use the Addovation CPQ today. So over to you, Victor.
Thank you. So I'll just share my screen here, and here we go. So for this next, let me just hide this here. So for this next customer example, I will show you a live demonstration of the tool that we have implemented for Expodul. And Expodul is a company that designs and creates conservatories, or as we say in Sweden, outhouses. And we have developed this tool for Expodul to be used by their end customers on their public website, where the end customers can design their own desired conservatory. So what we see here on the screen right now is actually 4 different product configurators that we have created for them. And I will select this one here to the left, which is where you can create a whole conservatory, which is the biggest one. So I will select it and start building. And my first choice here will be for what kind of material do I want to base my frame off. So I will just select this basic wooden material here. And based on that choice, I get a variety of different models that I can start building from. And here I will go with my unbroken roof, which takes me to the 3D tool itself. So now that we are inside of the Addovation CPQ core, it's time to designing our product. And the first choice I will make here is what type of season do I want to build my conservatory for. And I will choose winter here, which seems very fitting at the moment. So while I selected that, you may have noticed that we got a little bit more robust build here on this conservatory. And we also had some handles popping up here, the slide sections. And next up, I can choose what type of roof do I want. Do I want to go with this plastic roof that we see right here, or do I want to go with this glass roof, which I think looks good? So I will select that and go to the next page here. Let me just rotate my conservatory a little bit so you can see when I'm adding my broken corners here, which looks great. So next up is measurements and coloring. And this is where we can really change the conservatory to fit our needs. We can go on crazy with the measurements here, but I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. So I will change the, for example, the length here from 4 meters to 6 meters, and I will also increase the depth to 4 meters here. And before I change the roof angle, I just want to rotate my outhouse a little bit so you can see it better when I'm changing it from 5 degrees angle to 10 degrees. And when I did that, you notice that a little window popped up here. And before I leave this screen, I'm just gonna paint my profiles gray like this. And next up is a guided experience where the tool guides you as a user through all the different sections of your conservatory, where you can make individual choices, what type of model you want, and then you can do some additional configuration based on the model that you choose. So on this first here, I will just go with a slide section, which is where you can open and close the doors. And I'm also going to add a horizontal mullion like this. You may have noticed this line popping up here. And I can do more tweaks here, but for now, I'm just happy with my choices. And with my broken corners here, I will go with an airing gap, which adds this little window, which I can open and close on my conservatory. Next, on this long side of my outhouse here, I'm just going to go with a solid glass section, which gives me as much view out as possible and as much light in as possible. I think that looks great. And let me add a window here as well. And on my last section here, I'm going to put up a panel that looks like this, and I'm going to increase the height a little bit like this. So I'm pretty much done with my conservatory at this point, and I think it looks great. And just to top it off a little bit, to make it more cozy, I will add a dining table here in the middle of the room. Just to get a feeling that we have sufficient spacing and we have more than enough space to have a big round dining table with 6 chairs like this. And before I'm done, the last choice I can make here is, do I want integrated spotlights or not? Which of course I want. So let me just rotate it a little bit here so you can see the inside when I am adding my integrated spotlights here. So we have 3 spotlights per wooden part, and I can increase it or decrease it as I want. So I'm happy with my design, and I want to send this to Expedu for them to create it, to manufacture it for me. But before I do that, to generate the specification of my design here, I just want to mention that we do have VR support in Addovation CPQ. So I could put on VR goggles here and actually go inside this room to really get a good feeling, walk around in it, go outside and look from the outside. I can move around the furniture and I can even turn on and off the lightings and change the environment completely to get a really good feeling if this is right for me before I order it. But let me just order. I'm happy with my choice here, so let me click on the specification button here in the bottom, which generates a document for me that looks like this. So here we go. Here we have the document with all my choices, my measurements. You can see all my individual sections here that looks exactly as I designed them. And this is a very detailed document that I can send to Expedule. And this is everything they need to actually manufacture the conservatory for me. And so that's all I want to show you. Next up is Andreas, and he's going to talk a little bit about our integration with IFS Cloud. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. So I will continue showing you the same product configurator, the conservatory, but now I will also show you how this could work when we connect the Addovation CPQ configurator to an ERP system like IFS Cloud. So now I am in IFS Cloud. You can see that on the screen. We will go through a process where we start with a business opportunity. From there, we will go to the configurator and create the configuration. We will send it back to IFS to a sales quotation. And then we can review the configuration, maybe make some changes in the configurator, and then send that update to IFS. And then that sales quotation can be used to convert it to a customer order and processed in using standard IFS functionality. So let's start with the business opportunity. I have just created one with some information regarding account and estimated value and so on. From here, we can use a command to navigate to the configurator. And as you can see here, we have a conservatory similar to what Victor just showed you, but this is a slightly different interface, and this one is used by your sales representatives or by your resellers. So it has a different user experience with some more configuration possibilities and less of a guided experience, so to say. I will not make any changes at this point. I will just send it to IFS Cloud. I will use this button here, and it will create a sales quotation in IFS. It will create sales quotation lines, one for the frame and one for each of the slide sections. And then it will calculate the price and also the delivery date based on a capability check in IFS. And you see here on the lower right-hand corner that we get a price for the conservatory and the delivery date of the 27th of December. We can navigate to the sales quotation in IFS Cloud also from here to review the parts that need to be built and delivered to the customer. So you see that there are four different sales parts here, one for the frame and one for each of the slide sections. That means that we can configure a system of parts in Addovation CPQ and send it as separate sales parts to IFS Cloud. And we can review one of the configurations here. Let's click that line and look at the configuration. And you can see that we are using the configuration capabilities in IFS Cloud here. And we have some measures, we have some information about the door configuration and so on this part as well. Let's say that we want to make some changes to what we have just configured. We go back to Addovation CPQ and we can make a change maybe to the back slide section, add the horizontal mullion to that one, like that. And then maybe add some furniture as well to fit into the conservatory like that. And then we send the update to IFS Cloud and we will get the new price potentially and maybe also a new delivery date based on the new configuration. You can see that the price increased a little bit due to the furniture mainly, and now we will get it on New Year's Eve instead. Let's go back to IFS Cloud and review what happened in there. So now you can see that we got an additional line on the sales quotation for the furniture. And also we had some changes here to the configuration of the back slide section. You can see here that we got the horizontal mullion as well. So now from this, we would convert this to a customer order and then process it using, for example, dynamic order processing when it's a make to order situation, and shop orders and purchase orders, of course, and then deliver it to the customer. We also have here a link back to the business opportunity, which is where we started the process. And we will just review the business opportunity, and you can see here that we get the actual value here, and we also get the details of the sales quotation lines mirrored back to the business opportunity, of course. And with that, we are done in IFS Cloud. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andreas. I'll make sure to turn off my camera as well. Thank you for that demo of the solution and also seeing how it works together with IFS Cloud. Also nice to see that we get our parts just in time for the New Year's party, I guess. And just want to mention, if I didn't do it in the beginning, please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat and we'll try to make sure we answer your questions at the end of this session. But now I'll hand over again to Victor, who will talk a bit how you can enhance your CPQ with AI.
Thank you, Lars. And I think that when we are talking about AI, we should always focus on two different aspects of AI, and that is what can we do now and what can we hopefully do in the future. So what we can do now is that we can generate 3D models using AI. And we can do that either by explaining to the AI what we want using text, or we can do, as I've done here on these images here, that I have provided the AI with an image of the object that I wanted to generate a 3D model of. So the first image here is the picture that I provided to the AI, and the second image is what the AI created for me. And when you then have the 3D model, you can upload it and start using it in Addovation CPQ. And that's what you see here on the third image. And when you have it in Addovation CPQ, you can connect it to articles, you can start working with it, configure it, you can, and even you can add it to sales quotations in IFS Cloud, as Andreas showed you. So a real life example of this would be for companies that do not have access to the original 3D models. Maybe they are selling products that they do not manufacture themselves. So a company like this could use AI to generate 3D models for them and then start using Addovation CPQ anyways. And let's also speculate a little bit on how to enhance CPQ with AI in the future. And I think that we should start by using AI more in systems by integrating them in existing platforms. So in the previous slide here, where I showed you that we can generate 3D models using AI, the problem was that I had to leave the CPQ platform and use a third-party software to do that. So that's where I hope that we can fix that problem by integrating the AI models directly into the CPQ itself. And also in the long run, I feel optimistic that we can see some very powerful and useful functions being available to us by seamlessly utilize AI in our products. So in the CPQ, for example, you could probably upload a photo of your own house or your own garden and then start designing your conservatory, as I did with the previous example here, in your own environment, which will make it much more realistic and make tools such as Addovation CPQ much more useful and realistic and fun to work with. And that's pretty much all I want to say about AI at this point. Thank you, and back to you, Lars.
Thank you, Victor. So to sum up a bit, always nice to hear a bit about AI, hot topic as always. And to round off, like I said, Addovation CPQ, it can and will elevate your sales game. It will do so by automating proposals, saving time, making sure you get accurate offers and accurate configurations, and hence minimizing unwanted cost due to wrongly configured orders. You also get a fast and accurate pricing, making sure you have the right pricing and that your customers get the right price right away when making a purchase decision. And finally, it will enhance your customer experience, making it easier for your customers to explore and purchase your products. So moving on, we do now have some time in the end here for a few questions. We have a few minutes left, and I do see that we have a few questions in the chat here, so I will see if we can choose a couple. We have a question here. Can Addovation CPQ be integrated with other ERP systems other than IFS, that is? And I know the short answer to this one, but perhaps Andreas, if you would like to elaborate on this answer.
Yeah, sure. So yes, of course, the short answer is yes, but the standard interface that we provide is between Addovation CPQ and IFS Cloud. But it's possible to integrate with any ERP system using the same sort of framework or architecture and technology. And especially if the ERP system is REST capable, then there is functionality available in Addovation CPQ to integrate to any ERP system on the market.
All right, thank you, Andreas. And we have another question here about comparing Addovation CPQ to other tools on the market. So I guess the question here would be why would you choose Addovation CPQ? And I think perhaps Victor, you can be the best suited for this question.
Sure. So I think that some of the pros for Addovation CPQ are that we have over 10 years of experience with this platform, so it's not a new product. So we have deep knowledge about the CPQ concept, and we also have the same architect working that started the platform, still working with the platform. Which I think is really great. So we have deep knowledge about the platform itself. Another thing is that we have so much knowledge about IFS in the company as a whole in Addovation. So that gives us really an advantage when working with IFS cloud integrations. And just to make the answer a little bit longer, I just want to mention that we are also, what makes Addovation CPQ a little bit different than other CPQ tools is that we are working with a 3D first approach. So where a lot of other CPQ tools work with forms and then work their way down to a visual representation or no visual representation at all, Addovation CPQ starts with a visual representation and then work their way up from there. And we also have VR support, and we are working on implementing first-person views. And yeah, so that's my answer. Back to you, Lars.
All right, thank you, Victor. I think we do have time for perhaps a final question here. We do have a question about the license model, and the CPQ solution is licensed as a software as a service. So you have a recurring fee for the platform, and we handle all the maintenance and all that for the platform. And then you have a number of users in the system included in that package, so to speak. And aside from that, you also have sort of a startup project, making sure that we implement your products and your drawings and all that into the systems, tailor making it for you. And with that said, I think we do have 1 minute on the clock here. So I just want to make sure that there are a few questions here in the chat that we haven't had time to answer yet. But we will make sure that we will send out all these questions afterwards in respect to everyone's time. So you will get your answers, or sorry, you will get your questions answered. Sorry. And we promised also before we close off today that we will give you a special offer in the end. We And that offer is for those of you who are interested. We want to give you a free workshop on site at your location with our CPQ experts to discuss and evaluate how your business can benefit from using Addovation CPQ. So if you are interested, please reach out to any one of us Addovation employees in this meeting, and we will make sure to stop by and give you a visit and dig deeper into your business needs. With that said, rounding off, I want to give a big thank you to everyone joining us today, and a special thank you to our guest here today, Anders from MP-bolagen, for joining us. And with that, I wish you all a great day and hope to hear again from you all soon. Take care.